my name is Jess.
And my name is Corinne, and we are two of the dietetic interns at the Hines VA. Today, we're going to be walking you through how to make Chickpea Shakshuka. It's a great breakfast item or even a really nice whole meal to have in the evenings.
So we'll start off by finishing prepping our ingredients. There's a few things that we have to chop. So the first thing that we're going to do is finish chopping up our pepper. So this recipe calls for a whole bell pepper, and we have some of it ready to go. And typically you would just cut it in half, and we have some of the rest here for you. So we're going to hold our knife. We're going to grab like the handle here, and then we're going to pinch the top of the blade right here so we have some more control when we're cutting. And you can flip this any way that you're comfortable with, but we're gonna do the claw method, and we're gonna just slice down the pepper just like this. And then we're just gonna chop sideways so we can just line these up in a row. It doesn't have to look nice or anything like that. And everything's gonna be getting sauteed, so it doesn't have to be perfect or anything like that.
Yeah, while Jess is doing that, I'm gonna preheat our burner.
So this recipe calls for half an onion, or about a half a cup of onion. So typically what I like to do when I cut an onion is when it's whole, I like to just cut it right in half. And I like to keep this root part intact because this will help keep everything nice and together when we're chopping. And to get a dice that looks a bit like this, I start out by slicing inward like this. And then I like to do little slits along the side. And again, I'm not going all the way to the root. I'm just going just toward the end. So everything stays nice and intact. So now I can just chop right down the side like this. And we just get a nice dice all ready to go for us. And then this is nice because if you don't want to use the whole onion, you can save this for later and it's all ready to go and still together.
Okay, while Jess is doing that, I'm going to be adding some oil to our pan. We're using olive oil, but you can feel free to use any other cooking oil you like. Vegetable, canola, even avocado oil is fine. We're going to use about a tablespoon just to kind of coat the bottom of our pan. And we're going to just glide around to get it evenly coated.
All right, to finish up our prep, our recipe calls for 1 clove of garlic. So 1 clove is just 1 piece of the garlic from the whole head. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and I'm just gonna squish it with my knife because we want to get this peel off, this papery stuff. And then today we have a garlic mincer here with us, which is really nice. It helps so you don't have to chop as much. So we just take this, we put the clove right in here, close it, and then we'll just squeeze it down just like that. And then it comes out as kind of a nice already minced paste. And I can just take my knife and then I can just scrape off the rest just like that.
All right, so now we're gonna add our ingredients, our onion, our pepper, and our garlic into our heated pan. And we're just gonna saute these for a couple minutes until they're soft and fragrant. So the onions, the bell pepper, and the garlic just give this dish a nice, flavorful base. And they're full of different micronutrients. The different colors in the vegetables provide different micronutrients, vitamins, and minerals. So we like to have a variety of colors in our diet. And we're just gonna let these saute until they're softened. So kind of just stir occasionally, and you'll see the vegetables start to change color. The onion will kind of become a little more translucent, and the peppers will be softened down. So it's been a couple minutes here, and you can see our vegetables have softened and they're slightly lighter in color and they're a bit softer. Now we're gonna go in and add a can of diced tomatoes. We're using no salt added diced tomatoes, and you're gonna add the tomatoes and the liquid because we want this to kind of become our sauce.
And then we have our pre-measured spices that we're gonna add as well. So this is paprika, cumin, chili powder, and some cinnamon. And you can use whatever spices that you like, but we use about a tablespoon or about a tablespoon for each one.
And interesting about this recipe is there's no salt added. This is a really good low sodium option to have as part of your meals. If you do like salt, you could add a little bit of salt, but the spices and the vegetables in this dish naturally give it a lot of flavor, so you don't need to add salt. It'll still be really flavorful without the salt. And once it kind of comes back up to a simmer, we're gonna add in our chickpeas. So the chickpeas we have right here, these are a can of no salt added chickpeas. We just drain them and rinse them. If you use chickpeas that do have salt in them, you can just do the similar process. Pour them into a strainer and rinse them until the water runs clear, and then drain them. And then that's what we're gonna add to our pan with our sauce. Chickpeas are a really great ingredient to have in your diet. They are a bean, so they're high in fiber, but they're also high in plant protein. So it's a great way to kind of reduce some of your meat intake and to up your fiber intake. The average American, we recommend a minimum of 25 grams of fiber per day. Most Americans get around 10 to 15, so we're a little bit low on our fiber intake, but this recipe for a meal makes 2 servings, and each serving has 19.5 grams of fiber. So it gets you pretty close to that 25 grams needed for the day. If you were to break this down into 4 servings, it'd be closer to just 9 grams of fiber, but really a good way to pack some fiber into your diet as well as some protein. So we're just gonna kind of mix this up and let it simmer for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, kind of as long as you like, just to let the flavors get to know each other a bit more and let the ingredients in the sauce really form. It's best served warm. You could serve it over rice, kind of like a curry. You could also serve it with some toast, whole grain toast, or even sourdough. And another way you might have seen shakshuka is this similar tomato sauce, but instead of chickpeas, usually there's eggs that are kind of just dropped into the sauce and then covered to like kind of poach. So you could serve this, you could add eggs to this and serve it like that, or you could eat it on its own. But it is a very nutrient-dense, fiber and protein-packed meal that will keep you really full and really satiated for a couple hours. Yeah, we hope you enjoy this recipe and you give it a try.